Hi, welcome back. Welcome in. Happy 420. So I love this Friday time because I get to share 420 with you. 420 my time zone. We get to partake together, which is always a special treat for me. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for letting me be your guide. So today I am partaking in a little Sandia jet fuel from a place called Leaf and Flower here in town. I think I've already used this one while we've been playing around here, but it's okay. I really am liking their flower. So as we always do, let's take a moment to take a couple of hits so we can taste those terpenes. Just a dry hit here to start. Sorry, I didn't indicate that ahead of time. If you've already lit it, it's okay. Just enjoy those aromas off that first hit. If you're smoking on a bong bowl, you can always take a little bit of the flower and taste it in your mouth. Just a little pinch will help you taste those terpenes. Nice. So we'll ignite together. It's just about 420 here, so I want to make sure that we're hitting the mark together. I always like to at least take one hit in a round when I'm with people at 420. So I'm using my hemp wick lighter here. This guy has a hemp wick attached to it, so you can peel it up the side here. You just light it like this, and then you're not getting butane as you smoke. So taking a moment, bringing your device to your lips, bringing your flame on, and inhaling together. Exhaling, letting it out. No need to hold it in. Taking a few hits by yourself. Maybe you pause the video here. Take a few more before we get into like the meditation part, connecting together. But we're going to take 3 hits together. So the next three will be intention setting hits. So just make sure you're ready and feeling enough motivation. Here we call it mota, so motivation, before you partake in the next 2 hits together. So if you're ready here, go ahead and bringing that device to your lips, inhaling in together. Pausing with the tension and letting that hit go. Taking whatever intention it is that you have in your life or that you have for this cannabis, bringing it into this space now with these next few breaths. Just allowing yourself to soften with the inebriation you already have or the highness you already got going on. Taking another hit together, bringing your device to your lips and inhale. Bringing in that intention and sending it away. And just one more for good measure. If we're not already high enough, inhaling together and exhaling. Giving a little thanks here for the moment, the opportunity to imbibe together, to come together in this space, in this crazy thing they call the internet. It allows us to come together at any time of day, any day of the week, and feel like we're at home in this space together. And so I'm blessed and honored that you chose for me to be a part of that space for you today. Gently bring your hands over to your heart as we start our practice. We start with integrity and intention, knowing that as we show up for this practice, we show up fully. It's okay to make modifications. It's okay to stop and take breaks, but we continue to move through it till the end, at least listening to the practice so we can gain as much of that yoga within these moments together. Smile here, setting an intention for your practice, maybe saying a strong word or phrase. I like to use I am and then finish that off. Smile, knowing it's already your truth. Say it one more time to yourself and then drop your chin to your chest to really let it resonate. Nice work. Coming off those knees, if you're on the knees, or coming onto your seated position. So we'll start seated at the center of the mat here. You can sit with your legs toward the long side of the mat and start to find a little openness, or maybe you sit with the top of the mat forward. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna just kick our legs out to the side for a moment and feel a little stretch. So inhale to kick your right leg out, keep the left heel in. Maybe you even tuck it in just a little bit more so that left knee is almost at the same angle that the right is. So this is like a little modification here. And then inhale, push your fingers into the floor, reach your shoulders back and peel those shoulders down. Now gently just walk your fingertips, twisting at the belly button over toward that right thigh. Flex your right foot and really press it into the floor, pressing that heel in. Keep the fingertips over onto the sides of the legs and start to walk it forward. But think about folding and hinging at the hips instead of at the spine. So we don't want to round it out here. We want to reach it up. So those fingertips are really tearing the mat back, and we're flexing that right heel so we can actually peel that right hip toward the back of our hips. Flexing that foot even harder. Maybe you drop it down a little further. Maybe the palms can come into the mat. Maybe you start to bend the elbows down, but we're reaching that belly button to our knee. We're really flexing that right foot and feeling the strength through that right leg. Soften your face. Say something nice to yourself. And mean it. Release. Inhale. Come back up. Nice work. Switch it out. Maybe you kick the leg out for a moment, start to feel the length between both legs, noticing how the right leg is more turned on here, and then slowly bringing the right heel in toward that inner thigh, making sure that right knee is in a similar angle here to that left, so you can really have the hips open up here. We start to feel that inside of the left thigh this time. So fingertips push into the mat, and we lift up, thinking about pulling that sternum to belly connection, thinking about the shoulders back and down. And then walk those fingertips over. Keep that spine nice and tall. Imagine you're one straight line and you're just turning over to this left side. This is going to make you kick out that left heel. Really press through the left heel. Maybe you keep a small micro bend in this left knee if it's already getting intense for you. And then square those hips as best you can over that left thigh. This might be it for y'all. You might stay right here, just feeling the openness of those inner thighs. Maybe it feels good to start to hinge forward over that left leg. Make sure you're really flexing that left foot. Make sure you're pushing away with the sole of that foot and start to release it down, and stop whenever it feels right. You should be feeling this on the underside of that left thigh, wrapping around to the inner thigh. No pinching or stabbing sensation at all here, folks. Please back off. If you need to, just come back up. You can do a micro inch. Nobody says you have to come all the way out of the pose, right? You stay here and you just come out a micro inch until you don't feel that stabbing sensation anymore, okay? Keep flexing that foot, keep reaching it down. Each breath offers the opportunity to fold a little deeper. And press on up on an inhale, walk it back to center. Bring the right leg out and open up here. Maybe you start to bring your fingertips beside you and push it up. Start to walk the hands back behind you and push it up. Maybe you start to walk those hands really far back behind you. Bring your fingertips in toward one another. Bring your fingertips in to face your booty, okay? So fingertips forward and inhale. Just lift off, lifting your hips and look to the sky. Feel your shoulders, push up and away, and soften back and down. Nice job. Just opening up a little bit here. Bring your right foot in, bring your left foot in, cross through the ankles, find your knees. Maybe you need to turn on the side of the mat. That's okay too. Come on back. Bring your right knees, your knees underneath your hips. I guess I got a little stone. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders and start to press through your toes. Now, if you need to measure your hips distance between your knees, you take your fists side by side, you place them in between those thighs, and then you walk those hands out, palms into the mat, starting to push up and out of those palms. Rotate the eyes and the elbows forward. So it starts to feel like you're holding onto the lid of a jar here with your hands. Now, look between your thighs, toes disappear, press down through those toes. Reach the crown of the head forward and extend your tailbone back. It's a micro adjustment. And then here, sternum to belly connection. Nice. Inhale, let the tailbone reach, the belly drops. Chest moves forward, eye gaze up. Moving slow on the first one so you can feel the wave of the spine. Always start with that tailbone. So exhale, tuck that tailbone, tuck the belly under, tuck your chin to your chest, and push away. Smile, push down through your toenails, press down through your shins, and squeeze into that spider grip. Inhale, drop the belly, eye gaze up, push away. Nice work. Getting a little crazy with it here. Maybe you drop that left hip back and down and swing those hips around. Maybe you want to try some belly rolls where you kind of barrel roll, I should say, where just the center section moves around and around in the opposite plane, so from side to side. So you decide what kind of feels right for you here. We're going to do this for a couple more times. So if you were going one direction and you're swimming around in the body, go ahead and go the other direction. Breathe into it for 3 more rounds, whatever you're doing here. Loosening up that body, pressing through those toenails for support in that backside. And stopping in the center, shaking it out, wiggling your tail, walking those hands forward. Start to squeeze into that spider grip. Protect your wrist. We're not dumping the weight into the wrist here. We're using those hands to push out and away from that mat. We curl onto the toes. We lift the knees. We hover. Start to let those knees squeeze back. Start to push your hands into the mat and squish your belly toward your thighs. Then straighten up through those legs and find your downward facing dog. Nice work. Take a moment here to pedal it out. So bend one knee and straighten the other leg. Work that heel down toward the mat on the other side. Keep walking it out, pedaling it out here. Finding length and strength through those legs. And then start to set your foundation here in your downward dog, releasing those heels toward the mat. Think about that spider grip. Don't dump all the weight into the wrists here. Really grip through the mat and push away. The eyes, the elbows start to rotate toward the sky, and your chest will melt toward your thighs. Lift your booty up and extend the tailbone. Let it reach. Soften your jaw and breathe. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, swim it forward, drop it down, cross the leg across the body. Okay, so we're moving into a little bit of a pigeon here. We want to swim the left leg back and sink it down. Maybe you start to find the forearm. So we don't even start up tall here. It's okay if your right hip is super lifted right here. We're only here for a moment. We want to just start to sink into it so we can start to feel the openness through the right hip and the top of the left thigh. Press evenly between both forearms for 3, 2, maybe sink it down on an exhale. Feel that left thigh open up a little bit more, and then curl onto your back toes and shift your body weight forward. Start to find your hands, start to find that back foot. Inhale and lift the right leg back up and open up this time. So opposite stretch, be gentle here. Reach those toes, bend the knee, and reach it toward the front left corner of your mat. Smile, just yoga, getting started here, fire it up, release that right foot down on an exhale and pedal those legs. Smile here, press away, shake the head, no. Squeeze into that spider grip, rotate the arms, melt the chest toward the thighs. And nod it, yes, relieve, bringing in something here, releasing on those no's and bringing in on the yes. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, swim it forward, drop the shin down, and then cross the toes across the body. Start to sink back through those right toes, reaching them back behind you. Go only as far as you'd like, using those hands to hold you up. You can even drop it down to the forearms in this one if you want to feel a little extra, okay? Just starting to feel the openness through the top of the right thigh and through the inside of that left thigh, okay? So maybe you sink it all the way down, maybe you're feeling that open and flexible here, but I want you to be super gentle, making sure to use those hands and allowing that left hip to be up if it needs to be up, okay? Smile here, taking one more round of breath, and then shifting forward onto those right toes, coming onto that right knee, shifting a little farther forward, hands come out, feet lift, that right foot lifts up, and then the left leg reaches to the sky, open up. I got really stoned on that one. I guess I smoked a little too much. Good, bend that left knee and reach it toward the front right corner. Good, swim it around, drop it down, pedal it out, and slowly start to heel toe walk yourself up toward your hands. Finding your way all the way at the top of the mat for your Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale up for a half lift. Find the fingertips on the shins. You can have the fingertips on the floors or on the thighs. Exhale, release it down, forward fold. Now we're going to slowly rise. We're going to take 2 breaths to rise up. So as you inhale, slowly stack 1 vertebrae at a time as you drag those fingers at the front of your legs. Then shoulders drop back and down last. Head comes up finally, and then eye gaze reaches to the sky. The fingertips are going to come down and inhale to reach up. Tuck your tailbone to protect your spine. Keep a micro bend in your knees. And as you exhale, bend those elbows into a cactus and look up. Feel a nice little back bend. Make sure you keep tucking that tailbone. Inhale to reach back up. Exhale, drop the hands through the heart, pushing the elbows away and hinge it forward. Find your Uttanasana, forward fold. Release the hands down. Inhale, half lift. This always is our reset here, our half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, frame the feet. Step your right foot back. Nice job. Release down to the right knee. Keep the toes curled, or you can place them down. It's a little easier with the toes curled. Keep the hands, or peel the hands to the hips, and then peel the body up. Press into the big toe mound on that left foot and square your hips. So we're thinking about peeling the left hip back and peeling the right hip forward. It's going to allow you to lift up here and stack even taller. Think about that pelvic floor, tuck it in and under, and then peel that sternum to belly. We're reaching through those toes behind us. We're pressing down through the tops of the toes if you did keep those toes on the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up, shoulders back and down. Palms come toward one another. Smile here, and then release the hands down to your heart. Let's do a little rinsing and twisting here. Keeping that same length that we did when we did our open leg forward fold earlier, I want you to keep that belly button strong and twist over to the left. Just holding here. This is it. We're not going any farther just yet. Hold. Breathe. Feel the twisting sensation from that left side. And then inhale back. Press through the left toe. Release those hands down. Nice job. Curl back onto your back toes. Push in through the hands and kick your left foot back. Find a nice plank here. Shift it back. Find a downward facing dog. Take a moment. Shake it out. It's okay. Let go of anything that's come up for you. It's all good. And then nod it yes. Bring in something nice. Maybe you think of something you're grateful for, or something that you're, maybe say something nice to yourself. Nice. Release down to the knees here for a moment. Keep the toes curled. Make sure all the toes stay curled here and sink it back. Bring your hips towards your heels and sit up nice and tall. Grab a sip of water if you need, or a hit if you'd like. Remembering that cannabis dehydrates you, or has the tendency to. So make sure that you're always staying hydrated during our Canna yoga classes before especially, okay? Good. Shifting off those toes. Oh yeah. Letting that release happen. Tap through the top of the toes. Be gentle here. You don't have to tap super hard. You just got to tell them, hey guys, go ahead, get your foot back. Right? Now walk your hands forward. Press into that spider grip, that jar lid grip. Curl onto the toes. Lift the knees and hover. Squish your belly to your thighs. Push it away and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Taking a moment here. Shake that head now. Yes. Nice work. Left side. Inhale. Lift that left leg up. Exhale. Swim it forward, up and through. Drop it in between the hips. Nice job. Release down to the right toes and keep those right toes curled. Feels like we already did this side, but that's okay. Hands come to hips and inhale. Come on up. Good. Reach those arms up to the sky and squeeze, holding that imaginary block. Nice. So we'll get it 2 times on this side and then we'll do the other side. Nice job. I forgot what I did. I got too stoned. Good. Maybe the eye gaze comes up for a little strength training. Squeezing that imaginary block, pulling the left hip back, heeling that right hip forward. Good. Release it down, hands frame the feet. Curl onto those toes, kick it back, find your plank, shift it back, find a downward facing dog. Shake your head now. Smile as you nod it yes. Nice. Inhale, this time, right leg lifts up. Good. Exhale, bring the right knee in, shift the body weight forward, and drop that right leg in between the hands. Here we go. This is the other side. Now drop down to that left knee and curl onto the toes. Hands to hips, peel your body up. Bring your shoulders back and down, square through those hips, and release the shoulders. When I mean that, what I mean when I say that is that the lowest portion of your shoulder blades needs to be able to pull down towards your cheeks. This is going to create a tucking sensation with the cheeks, and it's going to help you create that inner thigh pull, the squeezing the block between the thighs, okay? That's peeling the right hip back and peeling that left hip forward. We're pressing through the big toe on that left foot or into the mound of the foot where it touches the foot. And then inhale those arms up, shoulders back. Keep the biceps out of the ears. Peel your thumbs back behind you to open up just a little bit more. Feel that nice long spine from the tip of that tailbone all the way up to the crown. Then release your hands down to your heart, turning toward that right side. So you're really going to squeeze that imaginary block. You're going to use all of those pressure points, squeezing that right big toe mound, pushing through those toes on the back side. Remember, you can have the back toes released, but it's a little more difficult. If this is really intense on your knees, you can also be high on that back leg. I'm not sure if I have the balance to show you today, but we'll get into it in our next round. Good. Keep those elbows nice and wide. Keep pushing the thumbs toward the sternum. And remember, root from that elbow toward that side wall. Smile. Nice job. Release it back center. Swim those arms up. Release them down. Handspring that foot. Curl onto the toes. Yeah, let that blood come back. Release the right foot back and find your downward facing dog. Shake your head no. Let go of something here. Find something you're grateful for in this moment. Inhale, lift that right leg up. Let's go for it. Swim that right leg around up and through and drop in between those hands. Nice job, releasing down to that back knee once more. Inhale, hands up, reach for the sky, tuck the tailbone. We just did a quick one here. It's okay. Squeeze the block, squeeze it, squeeze it. Maybe you're high on the back toes. Squeeze it, squeeze it. Release those hands down, frame the foot, kick it back, find your plank. This time shift forward, drop down to the knees, hug the elbows into the body, and release it down, chest and chin and belly all meet the mat. Good. Press through the tops of the toes. Inhale, lift up. So maybe you come into a full cobra here with the arms straight, hips working down to the mat. Maybe you're flying here in your low cobra with the hands out over the mat, just allowing those arms to stimulate the fact that the low back is doing the work here. Good. Everybody drop down to the belly. Eye gaze forward. Curl onto your toes. Press up, power up, and shift it back, finding your downward facing dog. Nice job. Shake your head no. And nod it yes. Nice work. Start to walk your toes forward until your feet are solid onto the mat. I want all four corners of your feet to be able to touch the mat here. Inhale, lift that right leg up. Good. Exhale, swim it forward up and through and drop it at the outside edge of that right thumb. Nice. Now you can drop back down to the knee if you'd like here, or we're going to come on up. So maybe you need to hop those around a little bit back there to find a nice stable foundation. You start to be able to lift the hands off here and build that foundation, okay? Then we push through that right big toe. We push back through that left heel, hands to hips. Tear the mat apart with the feet and squeeze those inner thighs in. Start to sink it down. See if you can get that right thigh parallel with the top of the mat. Bend through that left knee a little bit so you can start to feel the length of that left thigh as you straighten it back up. Good. Standing up or sitting up. I guess this is lunging up nice and tall, peeling the spine from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Imagine that body's on like a puppet string here. Feel your hands to your hips, hold here, pressing away, and then inhale, reach those arms up.
Nice job. This time we rotate into our warrior, dropping the left heel down and then square those hips once more. See if you can come into that warrior one. It's a little intense when our legs are this open. It's okay. We're going to move straight out of it now. So in that left arm open, and now rotate that left foot to be parallel with the back edge of your mat. Your right toes are facing forward, and we want the heels in alignment here, or at least the heel and the arch back there, okay? We start to sink it down through that right knee, and maybe you use this right hand to open up your thigh here, feeling the stretch through both thighs. We want that right knee to get over that right ankle one day, okay? We want this left hip to really start to open up. We want to think about pulling that tailbone up and under so we can protect the spine. We want to think about that corseting sensation, so sternum to belly button, and then peel your shoulders back. Maybe now you reach your arms up, reach those palms out, and then drop those palms down so you can activate the shoulder blades. Good, reverse the warrior. Drop your left hand down, swing your right arm up, just reach it up. Swing this left arm around behind you if you want a little added bind. Maybe reaching for the right inner thigh or tucking behind that belly on the right side. Look up at the right thumb. Sink it down a little further. Feel the burn in the right thigh? I do. Unwind. Back to your warrior two. Drop it down, right arm taps the thigh. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, windmill it down, find the mat. Good. Frame the foot and kick your right foot back. Finding a nice plank here. Dropping down to the knees, shifting the body weight even farther forward. Hug the elbows into the body and release chest and chin. Inhale, lift up, find your baby cobra, maybe pressing through the toes here, or lifting all the way up into your upward facing dog, just hands and tops of feet into the mat. Look up. Good, everybody. Big toes touch, knees go wide, sink hips to heels. Let's take a moment. Grabbing a sip of water, or maybe a hit of cannabis if it's in your practice. Obviously, water is not going to be in your practice, right? Water is in everybody's practice, hopefully. Sometimes it is a practice drinking water, isn't it? So if you're on the belly, start to walk yourself back up, coming to the seat. Hopefully you're already in your seat. Nice. We'll shift it forward, moving on to that other side, knowing that you've already accomplished it on one side. Even if you fell out, even if it was hard, you did it, right? We're done. So now on this other side, walk your hands out a little farther, curl onto the toes, lift and hover, and then lift those hips, finding that downward dog, walking those feet forward so they start to find the mat completely. Not too far, but just far enough. Okay? Good. And then pressing through those palms, inhale, lift the left leg up. Swim it forward like you're a flamingo. Come high on those back toes and kick that left foot in between your hands. The higher you can kick on those back toes, the more you can tuck this left leg underneath you, the easier it's going to be to drop it in between those hands. And remember, you can always drop down to the knee and then swim it around up and through and come back onto those toes, okay? There's always alternatives here. Left foot into the mat, left knee over left ankle, square your hips, make sure you have a nice buoyancy, you're able to come up onto those back toes, bring your hands to the hips, push into the left big toe down, and peel your body up. Good, working to get the left knee over the left ankle, maybe you start to drop through that right knee for a moment so you can open up, stretch that left leg back. Good, feeling the openness in this lunge, inhale, arms up. Smile. Good. Peel your thumbs back behind you. Open your chest. Sternum to belly connection. Release the right toes down, kind of at a right angle, a 45, facing the right corner of your room. And see if you can sink it down a little bit more, starting to feel the openness of this hip. Then swim those arms open to find your warrior two, reaching the edge of the right foot in line with the back edge of your mat. Then we sink the left knee over the left ankle. We peel that left hip open. Use that left hand, if you like, to open it on up. Good. We're reaching through the inside of this right thigh. We're really opening up that inside arch of that right foot and pressing into the nice edge of that right foot. Then as we sink it down, we tuck that pelvic floor. We pull that sternum to belly connection here. And then we peel those shoulders back and down. Now, reach those palms up to the sky. Nice work. Rotate the palms so you can sink the shoulders down. Then eye gaze comes past the left fingers. Maybe you sink it down a little more. Already starting to feel the burn? Good. Breathe into it. Inhale, drop the right arm, left arm lifts to the side. Don't push through this right leg with the right hand. We're just letting it dangle here or sweeping it around behind us to really feel the openness to that right shoulder. Looking up at the left thumb, sink it down, smile. Unwind back into your warrior two. Good, drop it down, forearm finds that thigh, reach the right arm up to the sky, and then windmill it down, find the mat, come onto the toes, and kick the back. Find your plank, drop down to the knees, shift it forward, untuck the toes. Belly to the, belly comes to those forearms, and we drop it down. Biceps, I should say. Inhale, press to the toes, and lift up. Smile, look forward, breathe. Pressing down through those toes, pressing that pelvic floor, small little back stretch here, and then push it away, coming through the knees, finding the chest onto those thighs, and dropping the forehead to meet the mat. Smile here and breathe. You've done great. Nice job. Shifting it forward, walking those hands out, finding a little bit longer of a tabletop here, curling onto the toes, lifting to find your plank. Pressing into those jar lids here, squeeze into that grip, rotate the eyes and the elbows forward, and allow that to be what pushes you up and away. Then squeeze through your tailbone and reach back through your heels. On the inhale, lift your booty up to the sky. We're going to do a few of these little waves here. So press into the palms. Let's find a nice strong dog here. Squeeze into that spider grip. Reach those heels down toward the mat and start to melt the chest toward the thighs. Taking a moment here, shake your head no, let it go. Nice job. Inhale high on the toes. Shift your body weight forward, rolling it forward. Let the head be the last thing that comes up. And shift it back on the exhale, pushing away here, opening up that spine, heels release last. Good, high in the toes, squeeze in through the belly, lengthen through the legs, drop through the chest, bringing the collarbone between the shoulder blades, push away. And kick it back, booty reaches to the sky, heels start to press toward the mat, push away into those hands. Last one, inhale, high on the toes, shift that body weight forward, roll it forward, find your plank, hold, squeeze into your spider grip, and let's find a nice strong plank here. So I want you to reach back through those heels, squeeze in through that pelvic floor, create a long spine here, even though it's gravity's pulling against us, okay? We want to reach that sternum to belly connection here. We want to push out of those palms. I know you're already shaking. It's all right. Don't worry. Kick those hips back. Find that nice wave with the spine. Exhale, let it go. Nice work. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, swim it forward, bring the right knee to the right wrist and drop it down. We're going to start to find a pigeon, a full pigeon here. Okay, so with our full pigeon, this might be super intense for you already. That's okay. What I want you to do is maybe take a pillow nearby and place it underneath that right cheek so you can sit up nice and square here. We don't want to be dumping all the weight into this left hand and this left side. We want to stay nice and open here, okay? Maybe you have one of those yoga blocks. I have bought some, but I forgot to bring one to class today. So I'll bring one next time. I'll make sure there's one in here for us. So maybe you start to walk your right shin. Let me move that arm out of the way. Maybe you start to walk your right shin up toward the top of the mat. Okay, this is going to start to open those hips on the backside here and open that pelvic floor just a little bit more. With the right shin, I want it parallel with the top edge of the mat up there. And I want you to flex your right foot. This is it right here. Even if you're way up here today, I want you to get on that brick or block, find that pillow to sit on, and get yourself up nice and tall. Holding up here. Maybe you come onto the fingertips so you can feel your spine open up, pushing down through the toes and reaching the eye gaze up. Soften your face. And eye gaze comes forward. Start to drop through those hands. Start to drop through those forearms. See how far you can go, especially with support, right? It's amazing what support can do for us, right? That's why with a supported pigeon, we allow that right shin to come all the way up toward that parallel with the top edge of the mat. Now, if you're like me and you're holding yourself up here today with your forearms, start to think about dropping the forearms out, the elbows away. See if you can bring the forehead closer toward that mat. Keep pressing down through those toes behind you, pressing down into the big toe on the left side, and then pressing into the nice edge of the right foot, okay? And as you find your belly onto the side, maybe you start to have some sensations of maybe some people coming up in your mind, situations coming up in your mind. I want you to think about that because this pose is about forgiveness. If it's not your practice to, move through some of the neurological stuff that goes on inside of our bodies, then just kind of stop listening here. Otherwise, what happens is we build up stuff in our tissues, we hold on to trauma in our tissues. And so sometimes when we move into these bound poses, it can bring up a lot of angst or energy that we might not necessarily know where it's coming from. Just know that it's the body's way of somatically releasing all of those things that are no longer serving you. And those might have to relate with some sort of trauma or incident that might have occurred. Okay, so just allow it to go here. If you're crying, fucking awesome. If you're, laughing or screaming, please feel free. Don't ever be afraid to use your voice. It's a vibration, just like a jackhammer blasts away on all the stuff that you don't need to hold on to anymore. Good. Start to walk your hands up. I know this can get intense. We're only going to go a few minutes on each side, so we got to go on the other side still too. Okay. So start to walk your right foot back in toward your hip. Okay. And then shift it over. Move the pillow over to the left side so you can start to use it on that side when we head there. Okay. Walk those toes on the left side, coming to curl. Start to shift it forward. Start to find the knee. Start to walk the hands forward, finding the right toes. Start to kick up off those left toes and peel the right knee into the chest as you kick back for a three-legged dog. So don't step back into that full dog yet. Just kick your right heel back behind you. Feel the stretch through the left hip and open up that right heel as you push it away. And then release it down, pedal it out, and breathe. Smile here, shake your head no. Giving thanks for the difference in feeling of our legs right now, getting to recognize they are two separate limbs and they are such a unique part of our bodies, each one. Nice job, Nani. Yes, bringing in that clever energy, that energy of adventure. And inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, swimming it in, left knee toward that left ankle, starting to swim those right toes back or pushing back, sliding back, and see if you can find that left hip, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take the pillow today because it felt really nice to have a little bit of support today. I'm right there in my pigeon where my hip is pretty much all the way down, but I'd like to feel the depth of the stretch with that inner thigh. It was really nice on the other side. So if you are in that supported pigeon, start to walk your left shin up to becoming parallel with the top edge of the top edge of the mat. I was getting ahead of myself. The next thing I meant to say is make sure that your left thigh is parallel with the left edge of your mat. Okay, so we want that left thigh parallel with the edge of the mat. So this left leg is basically creating an L shape off of the hip here. Now, if you're already starting to feel the stream, add a little bit more cushion under that left cheek, okay? Look over the left shoulder, walk those right toes nice and long and push down through the tops of those toes. Now, square your shoulders forward and press into the fingertips. This is going to start to lengthen and strengthen those cheeks and the inner thighs here, preparing us for that fold over. Maybe even rock it gently, just shifting a little bit of weight from side to side in your cheeks. So gently wagging your tail here. And flex your left foot for support here. And maybe you press down through those right toes and slowly start to walk it down. Breathing here, releasing the eye gaze up to the sky to increase the stretch at any time. Making sure you're flexing that left foot and pointing through the tops of the right toes, just pushing down through the right toenail. Not too much, just enough to keep the toe stretched out. And then slowly start to soften. And see if you can find your belly onto that thigh. Take a moment to breathe here. Whatever's coming up, just say thank you. No need to have any arguments here, no need to work through anything here. Maybe you just send forgiveness. Maybe there's a specific person that's coming up for you. Maybe you just send them some love, some forgiveness. Love is the truest form of energy, right? The most pure form of energy is love. And so when we can come from a place of love, even when we're feeling hateful or angry, right? It's really important to recognize that we have the power to bring love into the situation. Now, it's never about letting anybody off the hook. Everybody, as we all know, it just kind of works its way out in the wash, right? Whatever that looks like in your belief system. We all know that people will eventually feel the result of their actions. So, just live your life in love and joy and bring that to the table, even in those moments where you're feeling the most frustration or the most, I don't want to say hate because hate is such a strong word, but when you're in that place, okay. Starting to walk the hands back up, finding that breath as you inhale. Hopefully you haven't been holding your breath this whole time. Hopefully you've been using that breath. Then start to walk that left foot back in toward that heel or hip. Nice job. Starting to find those back toes and shifting forward so you can find that pillow out of the way. Starting to press off through those right toes. See if you can kick that left foot back and reach it back to find your three-legged dog, pushing away. Nice job. Pedal it out here as you release it down, bending through one knee at a time and releasing to let it go. Bring the big toes to touch. Send the knees nice and wide. We're going to do a little shoulder stretch here. So I'm going to move my audio. That way it doesn't get all, hopefully it hasn't been too rustly for you, and hopefully it won't get any more here as I take it off, okay? So with the knees to the edges of the mat, I want your hands underneath your shoulders. Good, and on your inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky, open up here. And then what's gonna happen initially is you're gonna open and reach. What I want you to do is not kick that hip out to the side. I want you to square up through your hips. So maybe that means your arm comes down to the side of the room instead of way up here. So what, it's all right. Okay, drop the right hand underneath the left, swim that arm around, and then lift up through that right hand, really reaching the right arm across the body. Now, bend your left arm and sink your booty down closer toward the mat so you can find the right shoulder onto the mat. Once the right shoulder's on the mat, reach the right palm up to the sky, and now drop your right ear just above the right shoulder or right cheek into the mat above that right shoulder. You decide what feels right for you here and breathe. So this left hand is out in front of the left face, or the left out in front of your nose. There we go. And the left elbow is pushing up to the sky. We're opening up the spine here, twisting it out, and now peel your tailbone back behind you to increase the stretch. Maybe you walk that right ear up a little bit higher. Now, if you're still feeling like you'd like a little bit more here, maybe you walk the left hand to the front left corner of the mat. Finding a nice shoulder stretch here, come high on the fingertips, tuck the palms and peel the shoulder back. Smile, soften your face, relax your jaw. Drop that left palm into the mat. Maybe walk the left hand back to the face. Maybe you'd like to try a little bit of a bind here. We've been binding all class, so maybe this is another opportunity. Maybe you swim that left arm up to the sky and really reach it open. Then turn your palm toward your cheeks and drop that hand down. See if you can get your hand to tuck behind your belly or grab a hold of the right inner thigh. Whichever hook you can get,
peel the left arm up. If you're not quite grabbing there, I want your left hand to the low spine, feeling the twist. We're opening up this midsection here through that outer left side. Remember, if you have that hook, we're really using it to lift the left elbow up to the sky so we can increase the squish on this right arm. Feeling that tailbone back behind you will support this stretch instead of twisting the spine. And inhale big and deep with me. Exhale to release. Release that left hand down in front of the face. Push in through the left hand. This is what gets us up. So push into it, push into it, push into it. And then the right arm uses its strength to reach to the sky. Wiggle the fingertips and let it go. Nice job. Release the right hand down. Left arms turn, okay? So get those hands underneath the shoulders. If you feel like your knees have slipped or shifted, bring those knees back into a nice stable position. Big toes touching for stability here. Later on, we'll get into a more advanced posture of that in another class, okay? So in the meantime, we'll stick right here with the knees wide, big toes touching. Right hand underneath you, inhale, left arm reaches to the sky. Open up, reach the left fingers up, reach, 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 and peel your right hip back. Really peeling the right hip back will help you find that stretch in the right arm, in the left arm and left shoulder instead of twisting out your back here, okay? So really peel those hips back to being square and then swim that left arm under. As you reach over to the right side, lift that left hand up to stretch it out and then start to bend the right elbow, dropping down to the left shoulder. So that whole inside of that left arm is facing up toward the sky. Left palm is up to the sky. The right hand comes out in front of your face, creating a little shelf, a little table here, and then drop that cheek, the left cheek, onto the mat. Maybe the cheek doesn't touch. Maybe you get the ear. Maybe it's just the temple. That's okay too. It's all going to depend on where your body's at today. Okay, so if you can, keep that temple, ear, or cheek down, glued to the mat, and peel the reach up a little higher. So maybe walk that cheek up toward the top of your mat a little bit here, and we're actually pressing down into this left arm to cut the circulation off, bringing fresh blood flow in. Okay, so now press down through your toenails behind you and sink your tailbone back in space. Nice. With the right hand, press it up here. See if you can open this right shoulder. Now, this might be it right here for you. Feeling that beautiful stretch to the neck, through the left shoulder. Think about peeling the shoulders away from the ears, even here. Smile. Breathe. Maybe walking that right hand up to the front right corner of the mat. Peeling that right hand down to the mat and then pushing off with the fingertips so you can pull the shoulder back in its socket and really start to feel that stretch. Smile, breathe, square those hips, peel your tailbone back. You should really be feeling the sensation through that right shoulder. Sorry guys, through the left shoulder here as we cut off that circulation. Maybe you walk that right hand back to the face. Maybe you'd like to move into that bind. Again, making sure you have a nice strong foundation with those feet. Inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. And then you'll rotate your hand toward your tushy and then bend at the elbow to drop it down, hooking that hand behind that left hip or maybe grabbing a hold of the left inner thigh. It's just going to depend on where you're at in your practice. No worries if you're right here pressing into the top of that spine, okay? Good, using that right arm to open up. Even if you're holding here, you're using that right shoulder to open so you can really feel the circulation get cut off on this left arm. Breathing, smiling, it's okay. Let something go here. You shouldn't be feeling any strain through the low spine here. If you are, I want you to think about peeling the tailbone back in space and pulling the sternum to the belly. Protect that midsection at all costs here. It's what holds our spine up. So often we want to get into postures and then we're like, oh, look how stretchy I am. But what ends up happening is we hyperextend and don't use the muscle groups to hold those parts of our body up and we can actually get injured. So safety is key for me. Inhale, reach the right arm back up to the sky and release it down. Let it go. Nice job. Feeling the pressure of the right hand, bring it underneath the face. We want it almost underneath that shoulder area when we go. So the right thumb's almost kissing that left cheek. And then begin to push into it. And then lifting the left arm up. Wiggle those fingertips. Yes, thank you, God, for the glory of this beautiful arm. Feel it shake out. Release it down. Bring the knees underneath you. Bring your hips back down to your heels and sink it down, forehead into the mat. Let it go. Taking 2 breaths here, releasing anything that came up for you, just saying thank you and setting it free. Smile. Breathe. When you're ready, starting to peel your hands forward, shifting yourself forward, coming back into a seat. Maybe now you choose to roll into your Shavasana, coming onto your spine. Maybe you come up into a seated meditation today, okay? And you can always grab a hold of that pillow or that brick or block that you had, placing it underneath your bum here so you can sit up nice and tall. As you peel the shoulders back, you peel your sternum a little farther forward and then peel your belly button in. Bring your palms up to the sky and shoulders back and away. Now, if you feel like you're super unbalanced here, maybe swaying from side to side, make sure that you move that bum flesh out of the way so you can feel your entire sit bones into the mat here. Bringing the hands over the heart, bringing the thumbs together. Taking a moment to just say thank you to each and every one of you for showing up for yourselves, for arriving on the mat today, being teachable, allowing me to be your guide. It's so ever so important to me. So with that being said, I just release you here, maybe in your Shavasana or in your meditation pose, finding stillness, finding space, finding peace in this place. Thank you all. Say something nice to yourself. Please mean it. See you soon. Bye.